Hi, everybody. My name is Anya. I'm here with Restream team in Austin, Texas. And joining me is Randy from Restream team Canada. And this is Livestream with Restream. Welcome to our product, demo, and live show.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Well, not see you, but hopefully you'll mention in the comments where you're coming from, and we'll definitely highlight those and see where the audience is joining from us today.
Absolutely. So today we are having a conversation about live presentations. So many of you might have this situation when you're thinking, I have this beautiful deck and it kind of explains what I do, or it talks about my service or product, and I wish I could share it with my social media followers. But how do I do it in an easy way without sharing screen? That's complicated, sharing the entire screen, navigating between different tabs. So today we are going to show you a couple of really cool features that Restream offers, how you can run your live presentations like a pro. And this is awesome. All right, so let's see some comments right here and now. Renee is from San Antonio is saying good morning.
Adding
That's
to our Texas
awesome.
crowd.
Welcome, welcome. Desiree says she is from Baltimore. Awesome, Maryland. Ross from LinkedIn is saying hello. Will this be available on demand later? Yes, absolutely. All our live streams are going to stay on the platform of your choice for replay. Looks like you're from LinkedIn, Ross. So, yes, you'll be able to catch us later whenever you're ready. And we have Lester from Michigan. That's awesome. Hi and welcome. And all right, perfect. And there is a question about professional plan. I just thought they do an upgraded professional plan. Yeah, Desiree, if you want to elaborate on that a little bit, we would be happy to comment on that. Hello and good evening from Zurich, Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Beautiful, awesome international community here. This is so much fun. Great. And Tracy from California. Beautiful, good stuff. Facebook user is
Ooh.
mentioning that they are interested in the website embed. Great question. Actually, if you want to show us your name when you appear, you will need to actually give Restream permissions on how to do that so we can see your name. But yeah, the website widget is something that we are actually releasing in beta right now. But today's conversation is about a slightly different feature. But yes, the website widget is in progress. It is being released to a select group of users, and we are silently launching it later this week. So stay tuned for that. Awesome.
Send this chat link here. Please authorize Restream so we can feature your
Totally.
name. You'll just click that link and then you can give us authorization so that we can see your name and make sure to call you out by name and show your icon on screen and all that kind of stuff.
Totally. If you cannot click that link because it's not going through to your group, if you're watching in the private group, which is a possibility, definitely just go to chat.restream.io/Facebook, and then the authorization will come through and we'll be seeing your name, which we would love to do. Jim is here from Houston, and Just for Work is already coming in with a question. Can I stream with Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram together? So let's go ahead and take this one before we dive right into our presentations. You can stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time using Restream. That's actually one of our most popular combination of live platforms that you can stream to. Instagram is slightly different. Instagram actually does not allow officially to multi-stream to their users. So the only way Instagram wants you to go live is through the app, which means that there is no API or like official connection to third-party applications such as Restream. There is a workaround. There is a tool called Yellow Duck that is integrated with Restream that you could potentially use in order to kind of like trick Instagram into thinking that you're going live from your app when you're actually doing that from your laptop. But remember, it comes with a lot of limitations. Probably the most important one is the fact that it's a one-way street. So the comments are not going to be coming back. You will only be sending your video to Instagram. Nothing will be returning. And secondly, it is kind of against their terms of service. So kind of use at your own risk, and be prepared that Instagram might not love that idea. Yellow Duck TV is the tool. Thank you, Randy. Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and share our presentation. So today we are going to talk about live presentations, right, and how you can run them within Restream, and see how right now already we're sharing our deck that we prepared for you today, and you can see it in a very nice and neat way. So for those of you who are new, I see a lot of familiar faces here, but for those of you who are new to this show and to Restream in general, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. I am here, Director of Product Marketing. My name is Anya. And just a couple of fun facts. I joined Restream in 2018, actually as the general marketing manager, and kind of like worked my way up to the product marketing leader. I have participated, I guess, hosted or streamed over 200 live videos. So I know a thing or more about how it feels to go live. And just fun life fact is I have over 400 parachute jumps. So I did leave perfectly functional airplanes more than 400 times at some point in my life. So that's kind of crazy. And here comes
That
Randy.
is. Hey, I'll introduce myself as well. My name's Randy. I'm the video production specialist here at Restream. I joined Restream. I'm the Restream geezer at this point. I've been around since 2016. I mostly focus on videos and recording videos. So I don't have as many live streams as Anya, probably actually not even close to a third as much as she does. So she's definitely the expert here when it comes to live streaming. But I've got 150 plus video recordings under my under my belt. And then my fun fact is that I've traveled over 4,000 miles on road trips. I don't know. I just love driving. I always said that if all else fails, I'd become like a cab driver or maybe a truck driver, just because I love being on the road. So, not as exciting as jumping out of a plane. That's on my bucket list, but I will admit that I'm too scared to jump out of a perfectly functional plane. Even a non-functional plane, I might just ride it out, see what happens.
That's awesome. It is kind of scary, especially the first 10 or 15 times, but it gets easier with some practice. So definitely hear you on this one. All right. So today, as we're talking about presentations and as we are going to be taking questions from the chat, so feel free to continue adding your questions, even if they're not related to presentations, because we want to make sure that this show is for you and driven by you. So it's all about what you want to know. But in the meantime, if you want to share with us what kind of content do you stream, that's going to be really helpful for us to kind of understand who is in the audience today, and that would be really exciting. In the meantime, I do see that there was a question from Tint Pro, and that is about Stream Elements. So, how can I link Stream Elements to receive super chats? Randy, what do you think? Do we have an answer for this one?
So, if you're streaming from your encoder like OBS or Ecamm, when you jump into Stream Elements, they'll give you a link. Usually, it's called a browser source that you can add into OBS by clicking the Add Source option and then Browser Source and then entering the link. We don't have that functionality to add in browser sources just yet on Restream Studio, but it is a highly requested feature. And I don't know how the product team is with it yet, but I know it's something that's been on the plate, and it's hopefully something that'll be coming soon. However, in the meantime, you can stream from OBS directly into Restream Studio, so you can get all the functionality of Restream Studio while also grabbing those chats in from Stream Elements. And also, I believe that super chats will show up in the Restream Studio chat as well. I think they highlight purple automatically.
Awesome. Yes, and I see there's some more questions regarding the recording. Will this be sent out? You will be able to find this on the platform of your choice. So whatever you're watching, sounds like you're watching on Facebook right now, Julia, and you will be able to come back to that same Facebook page and find this recording afterwards. So it is going to stay. We're not deleting them, I promise. And Tint, I think, has a follow-up question about OBS Restream. If you have a link to a video of how that will work, that would be super helpful. So Randy, I'll let you find this one
Yes.
as we are going through some comments on what kind of content folks are streaming. So Facebook user here is saying, I stream educational content for teachers. That is awesome. You're teaching teachers how to teach. That's beautiful. I love that. Ross here is saying, I use Restream to broadcast podcast show and live Q&A shows on LinkedIn and YouTube. Been using the platform for years. Strong emoji. Awesome, Ross. Thank you so much for sharing. Podcasts are great. Like and live Q&As, honestly, in my opinion, is kind of like the ultimate and the best variation of content that you could do live because it's interactive and your community is included, kind of like what we're doing right now. And Kathy here is asking from YouTube, is there an app coming on the iPhone? Can we stream from the phone too? So the short answer to can we stream from the phone is yes. There is a phone version of Restream that you could use. There is no application just yet, but that's something that's definitely in our mind. And we are thinking about potentially working on that feature because it's also very commonly requested by our users. But right now we do not have an app just yet, but you do have a mobile version of Restream. Just remember, if you're considering using Restream on your iPhone, that depending on the model and on like how powerful your phone is, there might be certain limitations. Live streaming is not a trivial task, and your phone is kind of like a small machine compared to your laptop or full-blown big computer. So just remember that depending on the connection, the quality of internet, and just kind of the overall capacity of your phone, how new is the model, you might have certain things that might affect the quality and like the frame drops of your stream when you're streaming from your cell phone. Awesome. All right. Another question from Tent. We love questions. This is awesome. Why the text to speech from Facebook doesn't talk, only YouTube?
So I wonder if this is, might need a little bit more explanation on this. Are you speaking about text to speech within? Oh, here it is. I have to go to my monitor to read the FB messages. Only YouTube, yes, talks back to me. So are you talking about our Restream chat application that downloads? Because I know that has chat functionality in it. It should receive your Facebook messages and it should be reading them out. If it's not, I would suggest uninstalling and reinstalling the software just to make sure that everything is working correctly and you're on the most up-to-date version. If that still doesn't work, it should be. It's definitely an issue that it's not working. So I would suggest reaching out to our live chat. You can find them in the bottom corner over there on our dashboard, and they'll be able to help you 24/7 to get that resolved and especially walk you through the technical steps more than we would be able to do here to make sure that's working for you.
Awesome. So many great questions here. I keep just we're just going to continue taking them before we move on to the rest of our presentation. How do we live stream a phone caller? So I'm assuming, Desiree, you're asking about a guest who is joining your stream from their phone. So that's actually not very hard to do. If you are using Restream Studio, which is what we're using right now, you could send your guest invite link to your guests and they can actually join from their phone. Since they are not streaming the whole thing, but just their video, of course, they will still need good internet connection and hopefully the latest model of their phone for the best quality. But they can totally join your stream from their phone, and then you can bring them in like a guest, just like Randy and I are kind of like layering this out right now in the studio. So it's actually not very difficult and super intuitive for your guests. So I hope that answers your question. Also, if your guest, you refer to them as a phone caller, if your guest does not want to be online with their video, they can always turn off their camera and they can join with voice only. That's perfect for podcasters. I've seen we had some of those people here. Here you go. Randy is demonstrating that, and I can actually also demo mine. Yeah, here you go. So you basically will have a name and a little icon moving around, and I believe you can even upload an avatar
Yes.
for in advance, so you don't even have to be an A for Anya or R for Randy. You can actually have a little profile picture of yours as a little talking head.
I can become Anya.
Oh, here we go. Awesome. Yes. So that's how it's going to look if your guests or phone callers join with an avatar uploaded. Just Works is asking, can we also earn money while streaming on the Restream platform? That's a great question. So the short answer is yes, you can. The other component of that is, how are you going to earn money, or how are you going to charge people? So there are basically three major ways how you can earn from streaming. Number one is the ad platforms, right? So if you're utilizing YouTube ads, then YouTube is paying you for your content. So that's just basically between you and the ad platform of how those ad monetizations are set up and working. Option number two is you can get donations. So you will need a different donation tool. Restream does not have one on in our ecosystem of tools, but you could use a ton of different donations, from just sharing your Venmo or PayPal wallet all the way to like more sophisticated donation systems that you could also use with OBS and other
I think Stream
platforms.
Elements supports donations.
Stream Elements is another good example. Absolutely. There's several, there are definitely lots and lots of them. That's why we don't offer our own, because there's so many on the market already. So you can monetize your streams by inviting your community and your viewers to donate and support you. And number three is, of course, sponsorships. So if you have the audience that is interesting for brands, then you can reach out to brands and offer them sponsored content, which is something that also could help you earn as you are streaming. Good stuff. I'm going to switch to the next slide because it is very much in line with what Jim here is asking. He's asking, what are the benefits of using OBS versus Restream Studio? And later on, he's asking, which one are we using right now? So right now we are in Restream Studio, Jim, and we are doing the slide share, new feature that we introduced for Restream Studio to kind of like help you guide help guide the conversation. And we are actually inviting you guys to share, how do you go live? Do you use streaming software such as OBS, Ecamm, Zoom, or many, many others, and then connect it to Restream and then go live on social? Or do you prefer to use our all-in-one streaming studio solution? And Randy, how about we share just a couple of benefits on each side? I know you're super proficient with streaming software, and I'm more of a studio girl. So I'll give just a couple of reasons why I prefer studio for live presentations, which is the topic of our conversation today, and just in general for live streaming. So three main reasons for me. Number one, it's very easy. It's so much easier to set up. There is no download needed, no, like, it's very intuitive and easy to follow, even if you have never done live streaming or video editing before. I love the fact that it's web browser based, so it's not connected to my machine. So whenever I have internet connection, I can just go on to restream.io, can like log into my account, and here's my studio with all my settings, with everything, my graphics, my captions, everything that I preset in advance. And also, Studio gives me a lot more flexibility in terms of co-hosting and guests and co-creating. So right now, Randy and I are both hosting the same stream because we can log in together as a team and we can co-create content. And I can do the same with up to 10 guests, inviting panelists and having discussions live. So those are my reasons why I prefer Studio. Randy, what are the benefits of doing OBS?
So I do use OBS to stream to Restream quite frequently. However, recently, with all the features that have been coming to Restream Studio, I find myself more and more leaning to use Restream Studio. However, if you're looking to capture gameplay, and especially something like a capture card, OBS, since it sits right on your computer, it's downloaded, it can tap right into those with very little latency between your webcam and your feed. Restream works pretty well for screen sharing, but when you're doing something that's like a high frame rate, like 60 frames, OBS is a bit better for that. What I like about OBS Studio is the ability to dial into the settings. So this is kind of because I'm a bit of a nerd. So I love to dive into the settings and look at, what's my bit rate, what's my frames per second, what's my my keyframe, and all that kind of stuff. It can be a bit daunting, especially if you're a new user, but I've been using OBS now for almost 10 years. So I'm very aware of these different settings, and I've spent a long time trying to learn them. And then I guess my third thing for using OBS would be that browser source, like we mentioned earlier, using Stream Elements or something like that to show donations on screen or new followers or stuff. But again, Restream's catching up quick, so you might see a feature like that hit our platform very soon. So it's a toss-up for me. I find that we had a couple influencers a while ago that would stream right from OBS Studio into Restream Studio, so they get the capabilities of both. And I dig that. Streaming right to Restream Studio, so you can have the extra guests, you can use presentations, you can do all that kind of stuff. or just using Restream Studio off the bat.
Awesome. And I see some of our viewers share the way they prefer to go live, right? And we have, I use OBS with Restream, OBS and Restream. I use Studio and Vimix. That's very interesting because Studio, in my opinion, is like one of the easiest ways to go live, and Vimix is super professional, sophisticated software. So they're kind of like on two different sides of the spectrum, which is super, super interesting. And yeah, so let's go ahead and answer a couple more questions here. I see Desiree is asking about how do we live. Okay, so that was the question we already answered. But then there was a follow up on what if people don't have a smartphone but they only have a landline. Honestly, there is no good answer to this one. Like with landline, you can really, really go live because it's slightly different technology. So I would definitely encourage your guests to consider using a smartphone for this. Landline is not going to work well. And another question also from Daz is, does Restream functionality look better on PC versus Mac, or it doesn't matter and it all browser dependent? Randy, do you want to take this one? Because I'm of course going to say Mac is better, but
Yeah.
that's because I'm a Mac user.
So I very, very frequently switch between my PC and my Mac, and I found that there's almost no difference between Restream Studio using it on a Mac versus a PC. I think it really does come down to the browser. So I find that Restream Studio works the best in Google Chrome. Google Chrome is one of the most updated browsers. It's got all the new technology. It works really good with live streaming and piping those video content right out to your audience. So I find that works the best. Safari, which is the Mac browser, can be a little bit limited in how fast they pick up technology because as Mac does or as Apple does, they like to refine and refine and refine and put out perfect products, while Google Chrome is very much on the cutting edge and they'll put up broken features every now and then. But for the most case, I find that Google Chrome works the best on any device, even if you're on Linux.
Absolutely. Awesome. Good stuff. And another question here from Sailing Illustrated TV. Can I stream from OBS into Restream Studio and set up an event in advance? Yes, absolutely. You can create an event. And when you go through our event creation process, we actually ask you, how do you want to stream this event? So Randy, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we'll just prioritize that for a second here. So here's your event. Basically your lobby. You start with creating an event and see how you can choose between three different options: streaming pre-recorded file, encoder, or studio. So I guess if you're trying to do OBS to restream through event, you'll be choosing encoder, and then you will be naming your event. We'll just do like a little testy test here. We won't be like really adding all the information, but you pick your date, you pick your time, and then once you create your event, you select the channels where this wants to be posted, right? Remember that if you have YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, this is actually going to create a preset little event card that people can set reminders on. So highly recommended. And then on your next step, you'll create an event. Randy probably didn't choose any channel, so that's why we're warning him. And you can even invite like other people to share this stream through our feature streaming on guest channels. So if you have coworkers or anyone else who wants to also stream that event, you can give them that link. But then here's your event, and see how you're here having your Rtmp settings. So if you click on that, you'll be able to copy and paste that into OBS. And then once you're ready and once you go live from your OBS, the stream is going to be sent into those events. Either the ones that are already preset on end platforms, or if the platform doesn't support that, such as Twitter or Twitch, is just going to start live whenever you are starting. So yes, absolutely. And we highly recommend using events as much as possible because that's a great way to pre-promote your stream and let your viewers know that that this event is coming. There's a question about website embed. Good question. There will be a whole stream about streaming on your website in April. So that's going to be the feature of the next months. But right now we are starting it at the tester mode. So you can definitely reach out to our customer support and ask for early access because it's already available to some users. So if you're really keen on trying it as soon as possible, you can reach out to them. But it is coming out soon. I believe next week we'll be announcing it officially. And you can play with it if you reach out to our support earlier. Awesome. And then there's a question about Safari links for iPhone. If the guest is joining from an iPhone, does it work in Safari only or not? I am not quite sure. Randy, do you know if that's the case? Because I believe it shouldn't be.
So guest link will work anywhere on any browser that you have downloaded into your iOS. Basically, if you click the link, your iPhone's going to automatically favor opening it up in Safari. But if you click and hold and copy the link, you can open up Google Chrome on your phone and enter in that way. I believe you'll get a warning if you join in Safari, just letting you know that it's not perfectly compatible. But it is something to note, and this is kind of the technical side of things. Almost everything on your iPhone will still run off of Safari in the background, and Google Chrome is kind of like an added layer on top of it. So whether you open it up in Safari or Google Chrome, it should generally be the same. But just remember, click and hold to copy the link, and then jump over to your Google Chrome browser on your phone and just paste that in, and your guest should be able to join that way.
Awesome. And there's a clarification here from Sailing Illustrated TV. Can I actually send OBS through Studio and still use the event? So that is a little bit of a more complex setup, but the short answer is yes, you can. For that, you will need to have a feature that's called, I believe, Rtmp Pool. So you will have to, and I think Randy is going to demo it right now. So you will have to go to your studio, select your source, or like add things to the stream. And then from here, you'll be selecting Rtmp source. And once you click on that one, here you go. Here are your settings again that you will be entering into your OBS. And then you will be coming back with that stream into Studio, and then from Studio to Restream and to all your channels. And of course, that Studio event can be created, just like you mentioned, you do it all the time, so you know how to create your Studio event. Just remember that's a paid feature. I believe it starts on Premium plan, or maybe even Business. So it's a very like specific setup. So if you can share a little bit with us on why you need to pull your OBS stream into Studio versus just using Studio or just using OBS to restream, I would be super curious to know, because I'm always interested in kind of like special use cases for that. But yes, it's possible. It's just quite a technically demanding and sophisticated setup. All right. So let's talk about our presentation. So there are 3 Restream features that I would like to highlight today in terms of running a live presentation, or sharing your deck just like we're doing it right now. And what are those features looking like, where you can find them, and how they work so you could create stellar live presentations. And the number one is going to be presentations in Studio. This is what we're using right now. And the main benefit here is that it's already included in your Studio. It's a browser-based version. It allows you to very easily navigate your slides while you are running your live show. And you can also display comments on top of your stream, such as this one from Sailing Illustrated. So I can actually add comments on top of the content that I prepared in my deck. So Randy, if you don't mind sharing your screen now and showing how you get there, so how exactly the presentations in Studio would work, I am going to go ahead and pull you right in. There you go.
Okay, so when you land in your studio, basically to get to your studio, you just click Live Studio, or you can jump right into your event by clicking Join Event if you have an event scheduled. And then on the bottom of the player, which is right here, you'll see the Add Source button. You go ahead and click that, and you'll see this new presentation here right at the beginning of your list of options here. And then the cool thing about presentations is that you can store presentations that you already have uploaded, or maybe your co-host has uploaded, or your team member has uploaded, and they can even do it while you're live. Otherwise, you can upload them directly from Google Drive or from your computer. So I have this Restream brand guideline one that I can quickly upload, and you'll see it'll immediately start processing, and it usually takes less than a minute for it to finish processing. So I do suggest, if you have a co-host, get them to do this in the background while you're talking, or do it just before you start your stream, or really anytime, because they'll always be there for you to select. And then we'll just kind of let that process, and I'll grab this one for now. You just hit present, and it'll pop in right here. And then you'll go ahead and turn that on. And you can see it's switched us to this overlay, and you can obviously change it to the exact overlay that we're using now on this stream. And then you just cycle through your presentation slides as you normally would. And don't worry, that loading symbol is only for you. Your guests aren't going to see that, or your guests will see that, but your audience is not going to see that while you're swapping through your slides. That's just letting you know that we receive your click and we're processing it to get your next slide up.
Absolutely. So the big benefit here is that while you are navigating your slides right here in the studio, you can easily come to other tabs in studio space, right? For example, if you want to put some overlays or graphics on top of this, or simply highlight chat comments like we were doing earlier, it's very easy to do within this mode compared to when you're sharing your whole screen and you kind of have to go to different tabs and you don't see what your community is saying while you're focusing on your presentation. So that's the big value add, and see how Randy is easily adding comments, captions, and overlays to run the show and to make it more exciting. Even the whole chat overlay, exactly. So like if you want to overlay everything that every single person is saying, you can do that too while continuing with your presentation. Thank you. That was awesome. Thanks for the demo. And
No problem.
we are going to take a couple of questions before we come to the next two features that I also want to share that I think are super helpful in presentation. And I'm seeing already there's some really, really cool comments about what we just shared. This is awesome. It makes live streaming easier. Thank you so much for adding this. You are more than welcome. Happy to hear your feedback. And another one here is Restream Studio definitely makes life easier when live streaming. Yes, if your whole show is a presentation and you're sharing the deck, this is probably the easiest way to do it, and especially if you are fortunate like I am to have a co-host like Randy, then you can turn this into teamwork, and that it's even less stressful and more of a bliss. No technical hell with your presentation deck. Question from Jim: when using OBS, can you share comments? So yes, you can, and I'll let Randy tell a little bit more about how that works.
So you can share comments in OBS. I think there might be a plugin for it, but I haven't tested that. In the past, it usually when I do it, it's very manual, where I'll quickly copy and paste it into a Photoshop file that I have open or a Figma file that I have open, and quickly throw that on the stream. Or you can do what we mentioned earlier if you're on one of our paid plans to have it present directly into Restream Studio and then show comments that way. But honestly, it's much easier to do it in Restream Studio. Doing it in OBS, it's always a workaround or some kind of plugin that you're going to have to learn. I suggest checking out. I think it's called obsproject.org, which is their main website. They have a huge library of plugins that you might be able to find something that can do something similar. But I suggest Restream Studio instead of that.
Absolutely. Alternatively, you can do chat overlay, which is very easily integrated with OBS or any other streaming software. Basically, you're using browser source to overlay our chat application, which is going to be your separate tab, and then all the chats will be appearing on the side. But if you want to highlight specific comments like we're doing right now, then yes, definitely the studio is technologically the easiest way to do it, while OBS might have some options that we encourage you to research. And there's also a question here. It's quite a big question from Seth, but I think we should address it. This is regarding the team. When you're working with team, multiple users, which is awesome, and you are finding a hard time when different team members want to stream or host a stream, that you have to all log out from Restream. So this is not supposed to work like that. The whole idea of Teams is that you can all log in, log out whenever you want. So it sounds like there's some kind of a technical issue specifically with this account, or specifically with whatever else you have going on with your setup. So we recommend you reach out to our support team. They're 24/7, real humans, respond within 3 minutes, and they'll be able to investigate for you, because that's not how it is designed. The whole idea about Teams is that you share team members and roles, and then you all come in and work together at the same time. So you definitely are not encouraged to log out whenever other members are working. And this is super awesome. All right, so we are going to disclose the next feature that I believe is super helpful when you're creating presentations, and then come back to more questions that we're getting in the chat. So another feature that I think is very helpful for folks who are doing presentation decks is record only. I am personally an avid user of record only for a lot of content that I put on my personal LinkedIn, because a lot of times I just want to share one little thing, right? Like I just want to show you how to do a virtual background in the studio. or share like one simple trick that helps me to prepare for my show. And for that, I use Restream Studio. So I log in, I go to record only, and then I can create a video without going live to any channels. So you could do the same with this presentations feature. So you can go to record only, do upload your presentation, and actually record your demo, your live deck, and go through it. The benefit of this is that you can actually do multiple takes and you can perfect it to the level that you'll be very happy with. Then you can download that video of your recording, and then you can either just publish it whatever you want, or you can edit it out and like make it even better, or kind of chop it up into different little clips for social media if you want little bite-sized content from your presentation deck, which we will touch on a little later in terms of how you can repurpose your presentations, and in how many pieces you can do that. So, all right, let's get back to our questions. I think we had.
I also love that if you're using record only or a Restream Studio at any point in time when you have multiple guests, whether you do guests in record only or you do it while you're live like this, you get separate audio tracks right from your recordings page. So when I download this video later on, if we decide to repurpose it, I can actually grab Anya's audio and my audio separate. So if there's any time where I may have accidentally talked over Anya, or there was a laugh over somebody else, you can have the clean audio directly from Anya's microphone without having to worry about, me cutting it over top, or maybe another video that we played on stream accidentally, sounding over top of it. So you can get a clean, crisp clip for your social media.
Yeah, sounding like milk. Awesome. Desiree says, I online stream with Vimix, OBS, Zoom, Teams, but Restream Studio is my favorite. Thank you so much for saying that. That is so, so helpful. And here's a great question from Vernon. He says, can you organize the graphics in overlay? So we have a feature called Restream Folders, and you can, so I'm not sure, maybe that's a little typo. If it's graphics and overlays, then totally yes. Can you organize graphics within one overlay? Please elaborate on that, because I'm not sure how that would work. But if it's graphics and overlays, yes, we have folders. It's a free feature available for everybody, so you can create multiple different folders for different shows and different clients, maybe even if you're working with different creators, and then you can just put all the relevant graphics to those folders and then navigate between them. I can try to show you how it works. I do have a couple. Let's see, like if I create this, see how like all of a sudden everything changed to my creator spotlight preset graphic, and now I'm back to Restream. So whenever I showcase other comments, it will be orange and within those styles and themes that I selected. So you can definitely do that. And another question here from, I love your names, guys. Mr. Merritt Smith. Do you need a good camera for a clear view? Um, so for a clear view, it kind of depends on how your audience is watching your stream. So if you know that most of your community is experiencing that on the phone, then you're probably fine with just the webcam. If you are expecting some of your viewers to watch it on bigger screens, then it might make sense for you to invest in DSLR camera. So I'm going to just highlight my video here for a second. So this is a DSLR. This is a Canon TI8. Connecting to Restream Studio through Elgato Cam Link. And this is the type of quality that you're getting with it. So I do think that, of course, it elevates the quality big time if you are choosing to use DSLR. And here's Randy's camera, so you can tell a little bit about what your gear is.
So I've got a DSLR. Well, it's technically not a DSLR. It's a point and shoot. I use the Sony ZV-1, or maybe it's Z-V1. It actually works as a USB webcam, so it's not quite as high quality as Anya, since it's using USB versus the Elgato Cam Link, which can do very high quality because it's right from HDMI. So this one I think caps at 720p, and I think it might be worth showing. If I can just minimize that for a second, this webcam is the Logitech C920. So you can see even with a standard webcam, it still looks really good. But the things that you're going to be missing out is that you can see that the color is a lot deeper and stronger here, and there's a lot more of it versus the webcam, which tends to be a bit more washed out and has much less colors that it can work with.
Awesome. Great stuff. Moving on, a couple more questions. I guess more comments that are just making our day. So thank you so much for sharing,
Yeah.
guys. Talking Sundays. We'll keep a PG-13 here. I'm a Pro Plan paid member. Support is very helpful. Anastasia from support, you should hear this. This is great. Thank you so much for letting us know. We are proud of our support team. They are our superheroes. And Seth is saying we switched from eCamp to Restream and love the benefits. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I love that. And we have a couple more questions. So here is a very specific one from Lester. Will Restream Studio will come up with an app for Bible verses to use in Restream Studio when you go live? So I'm assuming that you're talking about something that's similar to Captions. So when you can upload some kind of document where you have text, captions, song lyrics, right? Like anything that would typically look like a caption. We currently do not plan to build anything like that because for a lot of our users, the captions on end platforms actually do a pretty decent job. So if you go on Facebook or YouTube and turn on closed captions, everything you say is actually going to be closed captioned. But I hear you in terms of being able to upload that kind of preventively and just going to be able to control a little better. I would recommend using either our captions that are built in Studio, if you're a Studio user, so you can actually put the verses in there and display them one after another, just like we're displaying the comments right now. You might want to use a co-producer or a teammate for that to make it a little bit easier. But that's an option. Another option is overlays. So you can create an overlay where you have the text of that you are trying to share with the viewers and just have it on at all times while you are going through your content. So those would be my recommendations within the studio space. But yeah, thanks for the question, and we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And we also have feature request option through our support team. So if something would really make sense for you and make your life better, please let us know. I promise we'll listen. Product and marketing team are checking it all the time.
I think for that specific Bible verse question, I think it might get a little muddied together if you have all your normal captions, like follow us on Twitter, check out our congregation, that kind of stuff, and your Bible verses. So earlier you mentioned the ability to have brand folders, and I think that would be like the perfect opportunity to use for where you put your Bible verses. So you can click up here on the right corner, and you can create a new brand, and you can just call this if you're focusing on, I don't know, verses from Genesis. I can't spell that, so I'm just gonna put Gen, um, and then hit OK, and then you'll get a whole separate list of captions, and you can even set the color. So, say you want this to be, green. Now, when you use your quote and then like 12, add it, and you'll see that it'll pop up on screen there. And then when you switch over to your other brand, all those captions are back to what you normally would have under your normal coloring. So it can also give you a way to like separate the parts of your show for what you're wanting to show.
Yeah, awesome. Beautiful. So there is a question about pre-recorded videos that I already start, and we are going to actually start with the question and also with my next recommendation for the best features to run live presentations and decks. So Kathy is asking, if you're doing pre-recorded presentations with another person, do they also need to have a Restream account? No, they do not. If you are inviting them, well, it kind of depends. If you're inviting them as a guest speaker, then they do not have to have a Restream account. If you are inviting them as part of their team, then they will have to log in and create an account in order to be able to assist you with presentation. But it's gonna be free of charge for them. You're just adding them as your team member. And as a free user, you always have one team member. If you need more, then you can look at our paid plans and see how many each of them offers. I know that our professional plan has 4 total team seats, and our premium business have 10. And there are also extra that are available on demand if you reach out to customer support. So, what does it mean to stream pre-recorded presentation? So Restream has a feature that I like to refer to as upload and stream. Sometimes you see it as stream video file, but it's the same thing. So what it means is that you have edited picture perfect recorded video that you already created at some point. You can upload it to Restream, and then you can schedule the date and the time when this video is going to go live. Then you'll be selecting the platforms where the stream is going to go live on, and then on the date and the time that you selected, the stream or the video will appear as live on all those end platforms. This is super cool because in that case, you can schedule picture perfect videos and not worry about messing things up like we're doing it right now, right? Like we're live. So of course everything is real, organic, and natural. But if it's really important presentation where you do not have any room for error, it is really helpful to have it pre-recorded and edited. You can still take advantage of the interactive part of live streaming because you can jump in the chats and interact with your audience, respond to their questions as they come through, but you don't have to worry about your narrative. So that's super powerful feature. It unlocks at our professional plan, but if you are doing presentations for real, like this is one of the ways to go. And this is something that I would definitely highly recommend for people, especially who are working with presentation decks at scale and like have multiple presentations per day. Because let's face it, it's taxing and exhausting to go live and share all this energy all the time. That's why this show is only monthly. But if you have to have these presentations on a regular basis, definitely recording them in advance, editing and uploading and streaming later is one of the coolest tricks that I would recommend. Right, let's get back to our questions because I know we have so many amazing questions.
The chat is very active today. It's great to see everybody here and interacting with us. Hopefully we can get to all of your questions, but there are a lot, so we're trying our best.
Yeah, and if we somehow missed it earlier, please feel free to repeat and like repost the question because we're trying to star the ones that were just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is great, but we sometimes might be missing them out a little bit. So there is actually clarification that I was looking forward to from Sailing Illustrated, why you want to bring your OBS stream into Studio, and apparently it's after the event is setting up because they want to use the benefits of Studio, such as guests and overlays and specific Studio features, but they still want to create in OBS to have like more control over graphics and stream. Great point, makes perfect sense. Here is a question from Steve that I thought was really interesting. Is it better to schedule an event for your presentation or just go live? So I kind of touched on that earlier. It kind of depends at what scale you're operating and how comfortable are you with being live on camera. In terms of the quality of presentation, of course, if you have edited version and it's polished and perfected, it might have better you might have a better way of connecting with your audience because it's much more rehearsed, so to say. If authenticity is your thing, then definitely what we're doing right now is live for a reason, right? Like we want to make sure that we include you into this conversation and we want it to be interactive, not only in the chat, but also we want you to drive what we are talking about. So if that's the goal, then definitely going live would be preference. But again, if you have lots and lots of presentations per week, then definitely maybe mixing and matching and creating certain events as upload and stream versions versus live versions would be kind of like that golden middle. So really depends on your framework. Great comments here. Very happy with Restream. One feature that I would like is animated lower thirds. Great question and great feature request. We are actually thinking about animated overlays and animated captions, something definitely on our roadmap. So keep sharing this kind of request with us because we really do listen, and we'll let you drive our product map. Viva Ukraine, says Sailing Illustrated. Thank you so much. For those who don't know, Restream has very deep roots with Ukraine. Both of our co-founders are originally from Ukraine, and a third of our team is there. Here we go. That explains certain overlays that we have right now. Your support means a lot to us. Thank you so much. So Jason is asking, are there any recommended WordPress sales webinar templates? So actually, Restream recently, our marketing team started to kind of double down on more templates and like downloadable content. You can download wallpapers and like a lot of like templates and cheat sheets from us. So this is a great addition to what we are building. So I'm going to go ahead and literally screenshot this question. I'm doing it right now. Done. And I'm going to share it with our marketing team because I think that's a great idea. Yes, more templates for you, easier your job is, and that's what we're here for.
We
Um,
have a question here from Jim on if you're using OBS pushing to Restream, do you have to open Restream during the stream? No, you don't. So as long as everything's already set up, you've maybe scheduled your event, you copy the RTMP information, or you're just going live without a scheduled event. As soon as we get your stream from OBS, we'll automatically start sending out to any enabled platforms or the platforms that you picked for that specific event without needing to open up a browser for any reason. You can even use the OBS widgets like our chat, or it allows you to control the titles, and it also allows you to pick what platforms you're streaming to. So you can do your full show right from OBS without needing to have an additional browser open.
awesome. Great context. Heart of Inspiration is asking, I would like to the ability to upload my own audio, especially sound effects. Can I do that currently? So right now we have a feature that's called background music, but that's preset music that we offer within the Restream Studio ecosystem. So the benefit of that music is that it's royalty free and it's kind of endless, right? Like, so once you pick the genre, and Randy is going to demo it. Let me hide the comment real quick. So the same plus sign, add to your stream, you have your background music, and then you can play different genres. You see, you have chill, ambient, something more kind of like chill and quiet, and all the way to hip hop and down tempo. So you can play those tracks royalty free. So that's the only way we can make sure that you don't get any strikes for copyrights from end platforms. But we are looking at the opportunity to give you the opportunity to download your actually upload your custom music in the future, and especially sound effects makes perfect sense. So I did make a note of that comment, so we will share that with our product team as well. And
I see a comment here from Just for Work. How are you making the comments pop up on the screen? So this is directly in Restream Studio. You're able to do that. So I'm going to do it with Captions, but it's the exact same thing. You just click the caption and it'll pop up on screen. Or if you have the live chat open, you just click the chat message and it'll instantly pop up on stream, animated and everything with the colors you choose in your graphics, whatever you choose. It's instant or whatever style you want. It's super easy, and as you can see, one of our favorite features.
yeah, it's because it's really helpful because you can showcase specific comments and yeah, talk to people. So I see another comment about my camera. So I'm going to just drop the link in the chat. So it's probably going to be Amazon. Yes, it is. So it's Canon Rebel T8i, and I also connected with the Elgato Cam Link, so I could trick my computer into thinking that that's a webcam. So I hope that helps. All right. So quick bonus feature before we get back to more comments and questions from you guys is Teams. We did show the whole live demo about Teams last month, so you can definitely find it on our YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you're watching us today. But that's just a quick reminder that co-producing and co-hosting your live presentations is so helpful. Imagine right now there's so much going on, right? Like I'm controlling my slides, I'm looking at your comments, we're trying to find answers to your questions, sometimes dropping links in the chat. It is really hard to do it solo. So if you have a team of people who you can assign specific roles to, such as this person is controlling graphics, this person is in charge of chat, this person is pre-creating events and setting everything up, so when the host is ready they can just go live and start with their narrative. So this is a super helpful feature, and for live presentations, in order to look professional and frankly just be more confident and kind of calm about what's happening, because presenting is not very easy, right? So when you have a team that's supporting you while you're live, I believe it's very helpful. And I think, well, before we get to our trivia question, because we did have a quick trivia for you guys, I want to make sure that we address some more questions from the chat, because I see there's more coming in. Uh, so another Instagram question, Julie is asking, is this able to stream on Instagram? So we started with this earlier today. Instagram does not actually allow multi-streaming apps to go live into Instagram, so you have to use your own mobile app only. But there is a workaround called yellowduck.tv that allows you to connect your Instagram to Yellowduck and then Yellowduck to Restream. Remember, it's a little tricky process because your video will only go out to Instagram. Nothing will be coming back. It's kind of like a custom Rtmp thing. So the comments will not be returning to you. And also Instagram really doesn't like it because Instagram wants you to only go live from their app. So unfortunately, that's not going to be something that we would recommend you do unless you check the terms of service of Instagram. And all right.
I
So
see this.
yeah.
Oh, I
Go
see
ahead.
this question from Tint, who's asking, "Hey, another question. Can you guys add text to speech for Spanish viewers? I have viewers from Latin America, so I do stream in Spanish and English, and the English version most of the time talks funny. So with this, it's not going to be able to have both language packs at the same time. It'll have to be one or the other, because we're actually using the Microsoft text to speech engine that's built into Windows or built into Mac if you have our chat app on Mac. And so you would want to go into your system settings and switch the default text to speech over to Spanish. So that way you're getting the correct accents. Our support team can definitely help you navigate to get to that because it is a Windows setting. But like I said, you'll have to download that language pack and it would be one or the other. It wouldn't be able to do both at the same time just because that capability doesn't exist in Microsoft text to speech, unfortunately.
I do have one idea for like how we could potentially handle this kind of situation. Also, it's a little bit more complex, but we do have a feature called Rtmp Pool that we kind of demonstrate earlier to show how you can bring a stream from OBS into Studio. So potentially, what you could also do is you could have one main stream that is happening in Spanish, and then you can pull another stream into your Restream account and basically have like one going on in Spanish and one going on in English if you have like two creators who are willing to kind of like translate simultaneously. But if it's just one creator who is trying to have like some kind of automated translation, that would probably be a little bit of an overkill. But there is a advanced kind of like professional, not professional, but like company like business plan feature that allows you to do that, those pooling and bringing like two different streams, one on the background and another one on top of it. So you can definitely check out with our support about that. They can definitely tell you more. So more questions about music, how to put music from PC. So currently we don't allow to add your custom music to your streams. There are some workarounds. You can potentially create a video with your music, and then you can upload your video as either a local source or upload it from video storage and play it right next to you, and then it will have the music in it. But that is more of a workaround. Remember, with your own custom music, you will have to be very mindful of copyright issues. That's why this feature is still in progress. We're kind of thinking how we can address that and arrange that such that it would be convenient for everybody and won't give you a bunch of strikes. All right. Question from Desiree. That might be something that Randy you might know a little bit about. Is there any way to rename the Restream bot for chat when live streaming?
Sadly, there isn't because basically the way this chat bot works is we've gone and registered that account on these end platforms. So it's Restream bot on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. So because of that, the name is static. I know there are some bots out there. I think Nightbot may have the capability where you can rename it. And the way that works is you create a second account and you give Nightbot the ability to access on your behalf. This is a bit beyond the functionality that we have for our chat app, so we kind of just leave it at Restream bot. But it's definitely an interesting suggestion, and I think it's been brought up in the past on our team, so I'll happily bring that up again on our next time I talk with the support team.
Awesome. And then there's a very specific question about audio in Restream settings. So Assembly of Bible Christians is asking, we need to get our live audio into Restream and cannot find in Restream settings how to choose the audio source. Can you tell us where to find it in settings? So I'm going to hide your comments so you can see what Randy is doing.
So basically, you can press S or just go into settings here, and then the audio tab here, and then you can choose your audio input from any number of options, or your audio output from any number of options as well. If you're looking to loop back audio into Restream Studio and it's not necessarily a microphone, I would suggest checking out a program called Virtual. I think it's called Virtual Banana. Virtual Banana. Let me just check, make sure that's it. Sorry, it's called Voice Meter Banana. So Voice Meter Banana will give you a additional audio source on your computer called a virtual audio source. And then what you can do is you can tell Voice Meter Banana to send the audio that you want, say, I don't know, Spotify, into the Banana software and then out into this virtual output. And then you can set that as an input. And then alternatively, if you share your screen, obviously you'd have to have your screen enabled, but you have share system sound here. So the only issue with that is if you have multiple guests and they're coming out through the same speakers. Like if I was to click share system sound right now, you would hear Anya twice, because when she starts speaking on my computer, it would get picked up by this and then sent back in the stream, and you'd get like a very quick, endless screeching sound as the audio got higher and higher pitched every time it looped around. So just keep that in mind. It might be a good idea to test this in record only mode so you can watch it back, see what it looks like, how it sounds before you go live to your audience. Oh, I think you're muted.
Very
I
Yeah,
unmuted you.
I might have been. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and ask our last trivia question that we wanted you guys to kind of participate in, since we were talking about live presentations today and how you can use at least three different features, three Restream features to create professional live presentations. That includes presentations in studio, record only, so you can pre-record your presentation, as well as create your presentation in advance, edit it professional, and then push it to go live with upload and stream. How many pieces of content do you think you can create from one live presentation? And a spoiler alert, there's no like one right answer. I do have an answer of how many I was able to come up with, but you guys are welcome to share your ideas of how many pieces of content one live presentation that you would invest some time and effort into could end up producing for you. And since we are kind of like running a little late on time, I'm going to go ahead and share like the ideas that we were able to come up with, and feel free to add on to ours if there's something else that you're doing in terms of repurposing that is different. So I was able to come up with 12. That includes a podcast, a quote, especially if you're presenting with guests or with panelists. Definitely a blog post. Your presentation is very easily transferable to that. You can make a GIF if you did something funny during the live stream. Definitely can become an email newsletter, a story that you can repurpose, gated download. So if you want to actually charge or ask people to provide their email address in order to download that piece of content, that could be another opportunity for that. Clips, teasers, audiograms, and webinars. And I'm sure there's a lot more different ways how you can repurpose. So I like to remind people that your live stream does not always end when you click end stream. There's a lot that you can do with this content in the future. So that's why live streaming is so powerful, because it's kind of like a cookie butter. You create this one thing and then you can make a cake or a lot of different cupcakes from it. So that's what we would love to invite you to explore when you're thinking about your live presentations. All right. So I think we are going to be wrapping up here. Thank you so very much, everybody who joined us today. Thank you guys who are watching on replay, because we love to see you even afterwards. Feel free to chat or send comments to this video even when it's not live. We do tend to check the comments, and at any point of time, you're welcome to reach out to our 24/7 support team if you have any more questions or need any specific recommendations on your setup, on your onboarding, what's the best plan for you to pick, or how to accomplish something really cool that you've seen us or anyone else show you in the past. So, right, Randy, I think it is time for our high five.
All right, let's do
1,
this.
2, and 3.
Boom.
Done. We did it. We did it. Awesome.
We're
Thanks,
professionals
guys.
here. We can do the high five first time.
We didn't even rehearse that today. We totally forgot, but it did work out. So thank you so much, guys. Thanks for your kind words, for great feature requests, for your support, for being active in the chat today. It's always a pleasure. We will see you in a month on the next product demo, and that's going to be about streaming on your website. So stay tuned for that, and we love you.
Thanks so much, everyone. Bye.